Well, hello friends, my name is Lauren and I work at San Diego Humane Society. My job at San Diego Humane Society is all about education, and that just means educating people on how they can be more kind to animals. And today, I want to show you a few ways that you can be kind to your animals at home by making them some fun and enriching toys. Today, we're going to be focusing on how you can make toys at home to play with your dog. Now, the first way that we're going to make for your dog is called an octopus toy, and this toy is very simple to make and only requires a few items. The first thing you'll need is a tennis ball. The second thing you'll need is an old t-shirt or really any scrap fabric that you might have that you're willing to use, and then a pair of scissors. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to cut up your t-shirt, and I want you to ignore the sleeves of your t-shirt. We're going to focus only on the body of the t-shirt. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut kind of right along where the armpits would be, a straight line across my shirt. All right, so now we have this little top half with the sleeves. We're just going to set that aside and you can try to use it for a future project. We really just need this bottom piece. Now, what I want you to do is cut this bottom piece into 3 sections. We want to have 2 big sections about 5 to 6 inches in width and 1 small section about 2 inches in width. So I'm going to start by cutting out the small section. So I'm going to just cut right along the bottom for this section, just so I'm sure that I have enough material left over to create those 2 larger strips. Okay, so as you can see, I have 1 smaller 2-inch strip. And now I'm just going to cut the remainder of the fabric directly in half. And it's okay if your edges are a little bit jagged. I know mine are. Sometimes it can be kind of hard to cut through fabric, but just do your best. It'll all work out in the end. So like I said, I'm just going to cut directly down the center of my remaining fabric. So now we have 2 big pieces of fabric and 1 small piece. And you've got kind of these circles, right, because of the seams of the shirt, and we want to make them just 1 strip. So I want you to go right along the seams of your shirt on one side and simply cut in a straight line so that you have 1 nice long strip. Now, with your 2 big pieces of fabric, I want you to lay them flat on a table in kind of an X shape. So we'll lay 1 going this way, and then we'll take our other one and we will place it this direction. Now here comes the fun part. You get to take the tennis ball right in the center. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold up all of these edges so that the tennis ball is completely covered. Once that tennis ball is completely covered, we need to hold it in place. So that's when your small strip of fabric comes into play. You're gonna take your small strip of fabric and tie it around the outside of the tennis ball. So I've got my tennis ball completely covered by the fabric. I'm gonna go ahead and take my skinny strip of fabric and just begin wrapping it around nice and tight. Wrap around both edges until they meet in the center, and then you can go ahead and tie a nice knot. Once that knot is tied, you can go ahead and trim off the excess bits on each end. So now you've got your tennis ball in the end of your toy with some strips hanging down. There should be 4 strips total, and I want you to cut each one of those strips into 3 smaller strips. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. And you wanna cut from the bottom all the way up to the tennis ball. I just cut one of my big strips into 3 small ones. So you're gonna go around and do that for each of your 4 large strips. All right, so I just finished cutting all of my strips. I started out with 4 large strips and cut each one of those into 3 smaller strips. So now I have a total of 12 strips here at the bottom. The last and final step is going to be to braid those strips. So each braid, I'm gonna use 3 strips, which means I will end up with 4 total braids. Now, when you're braiding these, you wanna make sure that you braid them nice and tight, just to be sure that they won't snag on anything. The tighter you braid them, the safer they'll be for your pet to play with. Now, like I mentioned, once you get to the bottom, you want to go ahead and tie it in a knot. Make sure you leave yourself enough excess at the bottom to be able to do that. So just flip it in on itself, and pull it all the way down to make a nice knot at the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the other strips, and then I'll show you what we have at the end. So once you're done braiding all of your strips and you've tied knots at the end, you are all done and ready to go. You're all set to give this toy to your dog. We've got this nice tennis ball at the top for them to play with and chew on, and then these great braids at the end for them to tug on.